Welcome. On behalf of First Guarantee Bank, we have crafted this course to guide you in creating a manageable and sustainable budget. Creating and maintaining a budget is much easier said than done. Many people understand the value of having a budget, but they do not actually use one with their finances. Let's start by taking a look at two different types of income. The income you take home is generally less than the earned income you make from working. Gross income is the total income without deductions. Net income is gross income minus deductions such as Social Security and income taxes. Net income is what you have to save, share, and spend. Net income is also called take home pay. Many people receive income from multiple sources. For example, you may have more than one job, you may receive public benefits, or you may receive gifts. Making a list of your income helps you plan how you will save, share, and spend it. How much income you receive and where it comes from is important. Knowing how regular the income is can also be important. Regular income refers to income you can expect to receive every week, every other week, twice a month, every month, or on some other regular schedule. Regular paychecks and Social Security disability insurance benefits are examples of regular income. There is also unpredictable income. This is an income that varies in amount and or timing. Pay from hourly work may be unpredictable if the hours vary from week to week. Here's another example. Some people may only receive child or spousal support payments sporadically and in varying amounts, even though they are supposed to be paid regularly. Seasonal income may be predictable, but it comes only at particular times of the year. Perhaps you always receive money from a friend or family member around the holidays. Or you may sell crafts at a fall festival in your community or be employed as a package delivery driver during the winter holidays. You may also have one-time income that you only get once. An example of this is pay you receive from working one-time jobs such as helping people move. Keeping in mind whether each source of income is regular, unpredictable, seasonal, or one-time can also help how you will save, share, and spend it. Tracking your expenses helps you understand if you are using your money in line with your values and goals. Tracking your expenses may also uncover where you can make changes, perhaps decrease spending so that you can save, or share more of your income. Tracking expenses also has another unexpected benefit. When you track your expenses, you usually spend less money. It can be helpful to think about your expenses in three different ways. Needs. These are the things you must have to live. Wants. These are the things you desire and can live without. Obligations. These are the debts that you owe because you borrowed money, such as a car loan or mortgage, made another type of agreement to pay them, such as for rent, or were ordered to make them, such as child support. People can consider needs and wants differently. For one person, a smartphone might be a want. For another person, perhaps someone with a disability, they might need the apps for the smartphone to work or live independently. For that person, a smartphone is a need. Asking yourself if you are using your money for a need, want, or obligation can help you consider how you want to use your money. It can sometimes be hard to determine if something is truly a need or maybe it's a want that you wish were a need. Sometimes you have to make some difficult choices. Once you have identified some things as needs, you can think about less expensive ways to meet those needs. Once you have identified some items as wants, you can think about whether you want to use less of your money for those items. Once you have identified some objects as obligations, you can think about whether you can negotiate payment plans or make other arrangements if you cannot make payments on time every time as they are due. For example, people may fall behind on child support payments. One option might be that they work with the Child Support Enforcement Authority to set up a payment plan they can reliably achieve. Managing your expenses so that you can make payments in advance of their due dates helps you to avoid late fees, interest on unpaid balances, negative credit report entries, loss of services, and additional charges associated with those losses, such as higher fees to restart services. Easy ways to manage your expenses includes inputting bill payment due dates on a calendar, using auto debit if possible, and using online bill pay if you bank with FGB. Trying to memorize when all of your bills are due and keep track of due dates without using any of these tools is an inefficient way to manage your expenses. Now that we've discussed income and expenses, let's start thinking about creating a plan. A spending and savings plan or budget helps you compare your income and expenses, understand where your money is going, and make adjustments to guide how you use your money so that you can meet your goals. Spending and savings plans bring together the two money topics that we covered previously: income and expenses. When creating a spending and savings plan, you will first focus on documenting your net income. Remember, net income is your income after taxes and other deductions. Using net income means we don't include taxes as an expense. After assessing your income, you will record your expenses. The third thing you will want to do is compare your total net income and your total expenses to see if they are aligned. By aligned, we essentially mean, does your income cover your expenses? When comparing your net income and expenses, you will have three outcomes. 0, your income is the same as your expenses. You should have just enough income to cover your expenses here. A positive number, that means you have more income than expenses. A negative number, this means you have more expenses than income. In this circumstance, you will need to increase your income or decrease your expenses. Now it's time to apply it. Use our spending and savings plan to assess your current spending and saving habits. Completing this sheet will also help you plan for your financial future. You might also consider including anyone you may be sharing your expenses and income with, such as a significant other. Now that we have discussed expected income and expenses, let's talk about how to approach saving for unexpected expenses. Let's first discuss the difference between spending less money and saving money. The only time these two things are one and the same is when you save what you don't spend. Remember, saving is setting aside some of your money today for use in the future. For example, if you buy a coat marked down from $60 to $40, it may seem like you've saved $20, but you aren't building your savings unless you put that $20 that you did not spend into your savings fund. So why should we save for unexpected expenses? As you all know, life happens and unexpected events occur. Usually, these events require money. People can find themselves desperate for money when they need to replace a car tire or water heater, travel to a family member's funeral, or pay for emergency dental work. An emergency savings fund can help with this. An important part of creating a savings fund is setting money aside separately from your money that you plan to spend or share. You could save your savings in a federally insured savings account or somewhere else. When you pay for unexpected expenses with money that you've saved up, you avoid creating debt. Often the debt used to cover unexpected expenses can be very costly. It's highly recommended that a typical emergency savings fund should be anywhere between 3 to 6 months of your expenses, such as rent and food costs. This might seem like a big goal that is impossible to reach, but by creating and sticking to a budget, you will find areas you can cut back on and even consider additional ways of bringing in income. Even starting off small can help. You can make a difference by starting at $500 to $1,000 in an emergency savings fund. It will take time and commitment to build this up. You will also find that as time goes by, you will have to dip into this fund and replenish it. So this is an ongoing process. Having an emergency savings fund is one of the most important steps you can take to improve your financial health and stability. You can also consider the 52-week money challenge. This is a creative way to contribute to a savings fund. On week 1, you contribute $1, week 2, $2, week 10, $10, and so on and so forth. On the final week, you will have contributed $52. If you successfully complete this challenge, at the end of the year, you will end up with $1,378 in your savings account. This can be a simple way to build your emergency fund while instilling confidence in your saving abilities. Pictured here, you will see an example of an emergency savings fund plan. You can complete this worksheet after this presentation to develop your own plan for creating an emergency fund. Now let's talk about the importance of saving money for goals. I want you to ask yourself, what do you hope for and want in life for yourself and potentially your family? What have you wanted to do that you haven't been able to do because of money? You can make your goals a reality with the SMART Goals strategy. A goal is a statement about a result you want to achieve. The most powerful goals are SMART. Specific. What exactly do you want to accomplish? Measurable. How much and how many? Action oriented. What specific actions do I need to take to meet this goal? Realistic. Is this goal something I can actually reach? Time bound. When will I reach this goal and what is the deadline? Take a look at the sample goal on this slide. I will save $10 each month for 6 months by getting cash at my bank's ATM rather than an ATM that charges fees so that I have $60 for holiday gifts by November 1st. You are more likely to achieve your goals, even SMART goals, if you write them down, post them where you can see them every day, share them with others, and focus on one or a few goals at a time. Writing SMART goals can be very powerful. For this training, however, we're not going to be writing SMART goals, but rather we will now turn to the financial aspect of these goals. Your goals will often involve money. The only way you can achieve them is if you have enough money. But how do you determine what amount is actually enough? The amount of money you should save for your goals is based on what you are saving for, how much it will cost, how much of that cost you actually need to save, meaning that you don't already have set aside, the deadline that you have to set to reach that goal. For example, let's say your goal is, I would like to build an emergency savings fund for $1,000 in 2 years. We'll assume that you don't already have the $1,000 set aside, so that way you have to save the entire $1,000. You can calculate the amount of money you need to set aside on a daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly basis. Let's just say we want to calculate it on a weekly basis. $1,000 divided by 100, or 50 weeks times 2 years, equals $10. We're going to use 50 weeks instead of 52, just to make the math easier. If you set aside $10 every week for the next 2 years, you will have saved $1,040, and that doesn't include any interest on your savings. You will have more than enough money in 2 years to meet your goal. You can complete this table after training to calculate how much money you should save every day, week, month, or year to reach your goals. For each goal you identify, you can estimate the cost and when you think you'll need to have the financial resources together. You can also think of ways to save money for the item using savings and credit or find less expensive alternatives. Even with careful planning, money can run short. Let's talk about prioritization and getting creative with income and expenses. When your income is less than usual or you've had an unexpected expense, your regular bills and living expenses don't stop. When you can see that you're coming up short to pay your bills and living expenses, there are a few things that you can do. You can try to find ways to increase income or decrease expenses. You can also contact your creditors about your situation. They may give you extra time to pay or otherwise work with you. They also may be able to change the due date for payments to one that is closer to when you receive income. You'd be surprised what a quick phone call and a kind demeanor can do. You can reach out for help, not only from family and friends, but also from community-based organizations and public agencies. These organizations and agencies may have programs that can help with your situation. If you try these things but still can't pay all of your bills in full when they're due, prioritize what you pay first based on what might happen if you don't pay them. You may be able to increase your income, which will help you cover your expenses or increase the amount of money you can save or share. Some activities may provide more income once or occasionally, such as selling items in a garage sale. Some activities may provide more income on an ongoing basis, such as taking on a part time second job. You may also be able to decrease your expenses, which will free up some of your income. To decrease expenses, you need to think carefully about your needs, wants, and obligations. First, conserve. What can you get cheaper or use less of? Can you save on gas by carpooling to work or school? Can you switch to store brand items? Adjust. What can you renegotiate over a longer term? Can you call an insurance agent and adjust your rate? How about eliminate? What can you do without, either right away or over long term? Can you temporarily eliminate eating out? Are you close enough to your workplace to bike to work instead of driving? Prioritizing means making choices about which bills you will pay in full, pay partially, or pay late. You still need to pay all of your bills, but the order you pay them can sometimes help you make it through the month. Examining the consequences of not paying certain bills in full or on time is the first step to prioritizing. Think about what might happen if you don't pay. Pay particular attention to consequences that can prevent you from earning income, jeopardize your shelter, impact you or your family's health or ability to live independently, or could result in loss of your assets, including debts that are secured by things you own. Consider sitting down and ordering your expenses from most important to least important. You can do this by first writing down the consequences of paying each bill late. This will help you think clearly in the event that you need to prioritize your bills. For example, many people for many people, the consequences of missing a mortgage payment would be more det- For example, for many people, the consequences of missing a mortgage payment would be more detrimental than missing a phone bill payment. In this case, the mortgage should be paid before the phone bill. Thank you for participating in this course on the importance of building a budget. We hope you are able to leave this course with strategies and resources to build your spending and savings plan. Please remember to visit First Guarantee Bank if you have any questions on best practices with saving your money and creating financial goals.